Hey guys, welcome to Priceless B Movies. You know, I spend a lot of time talking about movies that I feel are underrated, that aren't given the attention that I think they deserve from the mainstream for whatever reason. If they weren't in theaters very long, or if they weren't well publicized, or if they initially got bad reviews, for whatever reason, just never really caught the public eye the way that they probably should have. In hindsight, I want to start a little subcategory of videos on my page where I take some time out to discuss movies that are very well known and are very well respected by the general public and that I think are full of it. The Conjuring. Now, before I get into this, if you liked The Conjuring, if you saw that movie and you thought it was scary, you thought it was good, okay, I'm not dissing you in any way. If that's your opinion, if that's how you feel about the movie, more power to you. I'm glad you were able to enjoy it. I have so many problems with this movie that I just can't shut up about them. Whenever someone asks me what I feel about The Conjuring, I cannot not blast the movie in almost every way. But for the sake of keeping this video at a good length, I'm going to limit it to 6 things that I cannot stand about The Conjuring. I would go ahead and take this opportunity to go into the plot and tell you what the movie is about, but The Conjuring isn't a B movie. The Conjuring is a movie that I expect almost anyone watching these videos to have heard of and probably even seen. So I'm not going to take too much time discussing, okay, we have Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, and they play the Warrens, paranormal investigators, and they try to rid this farmhouse family of an evil spirit. That's all I'm going to go into with the plot. Almost everyone knows The Conjuring. Now, The Conjuring was made for about $20 million and made about $300 million. So financially, the film did very well. You can't deny that. This movie made a lot of money. And, at least as of today, June 28th, 2015, The Conjuring holds an 86% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which means that the vast majority of critics have given good reviews to this film. I want to state that this film is a financial and critical success. Me not liking it has nothing to do with the fact that this is widely regarded to be a great movie. That being said, right now, over the next few minutes, I'm going to rip this movie a new asshole. The first of these 6 issues is the whole based on a true story spiel that they use to market and sell this movie. I think that in many regards, How the Grinch Stole Christmas is more based in reality than The Conjuring is. First of all, and this is after reading several articles, this is after reading interviews with some of the people who were supposedly involved in this haunting. From what they say, this movie does an accurate job at portraying the haunting and what they lived through. But even they come out and say on almost every interview that the movie does, change some stuff up and alter some stuff just for the sake of, being able to fit in the terms of a film, an audience being able to relate to it. Now, while you might say, well, Colin, almost any movie is going to do that. They're going to make some changes. That's fine. But at the end of the day, this is about 20% what actually happened. This is not based on a true story. This is someone read a paragraph about what happened and wrote a goddamn script to go along with it. Also, and I have to say it, the Warrens were proven to be liars on most, if not all, of their investigations. You can't take this stuff that seriously. Is some of this based in history and based in reality? Yes, but not nearly as much as you think it is. The second point that I'm going to bring up is the incredibly generic storyline and the incredibly generic formula in this film. If you have ever seen a possession film, you have seen The Conjuring already, and you've seen it done better. If you've ever seen a haunted house movie before, you have seen The Conjuring already, and you've seen it done better. This movie brings nothing new to the genre. It's not just that they take some cliches. This entire movie is a cliche. There are no risks taken in this whole film. They call this the scariest movie of the year. I was struggling to stay awake the whole time I watched it. Third thing that really bugged me about The Conjuring is the hype. When this movie was about to come out, maybe about, let's talk about 4 or 5 months before the film was released, it was being very heavily hyped. It had shown, I guess, at a couple festivals, had some screenings here and there, and the early consensus for it was very good. A lot of people were saying, this is the scariest movie this year. This is the scariest movie last decade. This is the scariest movie ever, some people were saying. Now, here's the problem, especially with a horror movie. You see, horror is subjective. You know, what is really terrifying to one person may not be really terrifying to somebody else. In a recent review, I talked about The Exorcist and how I understood that while a lot of people consider that to be one of the scariest movies ever, I think it's one of the funniest. You know, horror is subjective. What you find heavily disturbing, what you find terrifying, another person might just think is kind of a joke, or they might think it's dumb, or that's just horror. So if you're going to say that a movie is the scariest movie of some time period, then I'm assuming you're basing that in a general way, that overall you can't see anyone not being scared by this. Honestly, I can't see anybody being scared by The Conjuring, unless it's just one of the first horror movies they've ever watched. Number 4, the unwarranted R rating. These unwarranted R ratings drive me crazy. This was also part of the hype when it came to The Conjuring, was that the MPAA gave it an R, but they basically just said, for terror. You know, like for terror. Disturbing images and terror. It was something along those lines. And, you know, I've seen The Conjuring 3 or 4 times now, and I can't think of any logical reason for it to have an R rating. I don't remember much profanity. There's no sex. Even when it comes to violence, there's some very quick, kind of gory images, but nothing that wouldn't be okay in a PG-13 movie. You know, I think the Insidious movies get a little darker than The Conjuring does. And, you know, just violence in general, there's extremely little violence in this. I think some of the Connery Bonds are far more violent than anything in The Conjuring is. And you know what? Here's the thing. A lot of people thought that, oh, well, the movie is rated R just for disturbing images and terror. You know what other movie was rated R almost solely for violence and terror? It was a movie that came out in 1996 called The Frighteners. And I dare you to find a single person on this planet who saw that movie once they were 14, 15 or older and thought that that movie was scary. I dare you. The unwarranted R rating and kind of the reason for the R rating does lead me directly into number 5, which is too many jump scares. Now, I understand in this day and age, just horror filmmakers are so lazy. And sometimes the only thing they can think to do is yell boo. And you know, as long as it's justified and they don't overdo it, I'm fine with that. I think a good horror movie should have its share of, you know, jump scares and things coming out at you. You know, it just kind of keeps you on edge a little bit. But here's the problem. When you have no genuine suspense in your film and it's just jump after jump after jump after jump, you're not showing me that you know how to pull the audience's strings. You're showing me that you have no idea how to be scary, and that all you can do is go for cheap shocks. I hate that. I hate movies that do that. I actually, at one point, played my copy of Independence Day, and then played at the same volume The Conjuring, and realized that in The Conjuring, a painting falling off of a wall made more noise than the White House explosion in Independence Day. This movie is not about scaring you, it's about giving you a heart attack from loud noises. Can't stand that shit. Now here's the thing, guys. I could forgive all of that. All of that. If it wasn't for number 6. And I'm just going to come out and say this right now. Inconsistent storytelling. There is such a thing as suspension of disbelief, especially with horror movies. But, you know, I'm going to misquote John Landis here. John Landis once said to somebody, you know, how do you kill a vampire? You're writing a vampire movie. How do you kill the vampire? And the person said, you know, something along the lines of, oh, you know, a stake through the heart or sunlight. And John Landis just basically said, no, you kill the vampire however you want to kill the vampire. Vampires don't exist. Vampires don't exist. Kill the vampire however you want. Now, there's a lot of wisdom in that. Because what he's basically saying is that anytime you're going to have a fantastical element or a supernatural element, you do kind of have free reign to decide how you want to deal with that element. But you do have to set up some kind of ground rules. What The Conjuring does that really infuriates me is it sets up ground rules and then repeatedly contradicts them, because it's got to somehow get from jump scene to jump scene to jump scene, even if the story makes no sense. I'll give you a couple examples of this, but there's so many scattered through the movie. One that stands out to me right away is that Patrick Wilson, near the beginning of the film, they're interviewing these nurses about the Annabelle doll. And Patrick Wilson says something along the lines of, well, you see, that's the thing. It was a demon. It was a demon in the doll. You see, demons can only possess inanimate objects because that's how they get control over people. Not 30 minutes later, if even that, is he talking to the family, the parents, in the farmhouse and saying, there's a demon and it's trying to possess you. You see, demons possess people. You just said at the beginning of the movie that demons don't do that. But you've got to change the rules because otherwise you wouldn't have a movie. Oh, and don't even get me started on the demon in this movie. The demon, the witch, whatever you want to call it. Don't even get me started. Let me ask you something. If the demon has to possess the mother to kill the children, I guess I should have put a spoiler warning out, but if the demon has to possess the mother to kill the children, like that's the whole MO, that's just the demon's thing, then I don't quite understand scenes like where the demon is hurling a chair at a little girl or jumping off a dresser and scratching up one of them, or it seems to me like the demon's fully capable of killing those children any time that it wants. I mean, what? So we have to have this exorcism sequence at the end? So let's just contradict that rule, though, so we can have a couple of attack scenes? What the hell is going on here? Nothing in this movie makes sense to me because the rules keep changing, and there's never any explanation given for why these things happen. It's literally just got to get to the next jump scene somehow, so, hopefully the audience is stupid. It's okay, we'll make millions of dollars. As I said before, if you liked The Conjuring, more power to you. I can't. I've tried watching this movie a couple of different times. I was convinced for a while that it was a movie that maybe if I just kept giving it chances, I would eventually grow to see what everyone saw in it. I don't see anything good about this movie. I guess the acting's okay, and it is pretty well shot and well choreographed and well edited in certain scenes, but overall, this is one of the dumbest movies. Why does this movie get such high regard? This isn't scary, it's loud, and it's stupid. This is the perfect example for this first video in my mind, this first video in this series, because I don't think The Conjuring deserved the money that it made. I don't think it deserved the good reviews that it made, but as I've stated, this is seen by most people as a excellent horror film. That's basically all I have to say about The Conjuring. But here's the thing. I'm thinking of doing a couple more of these, so as I said, if there are movies that you would like to hear my opinion on that a lot of people don't talk about, by all means, let me know. Send me a request, comment below, and I'll see what I can do about watching that movie and getting a review up for you. But now I'm saying that also, if there is a movie that you think gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of praise, and you just don't understand why, maybe I don't either. Drop me a title. Let's see if we agree. And if you did like The Conjuring, if you really do think that I missed something here and that I'm wrong, or if you just don't like me because I don't like the movie, also leave a comment, let me know. Bait with me here, let's see if we can find some middle ground. Stay tuned, guys. I do have some more reviews coming your way. And as always, thank you for watching Priceless B Movies.